I don't want to see the fucking Giga Chad 27-inch bicep, insert the fucking meme of the Giga Chad guy. He's hanging from the neck of the horse, got it in a fucking grip with a knife to its neck, a gun to its temple, and he's the fastest, baby. You see that horse is like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, and he's the fastest, and that's the way we're supposed to ride horses from now on.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, a show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jesse Kazam.
And I'm Veritas, Grandmaster chess player.
Grandmaster already, dude. Magnus Carlsen, you're coming for him. I think that's a chess player. I'm not 100% sure, though. I tossed it out.
Magnus Carlsen is the strong man. You're thinking about Magnus for Magnuson. He's the chess player.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing. The new game came out. It's in beta.
It finally came out of alpha. Nice.
It's in beta. They've done some really good balancing changes. See, here's the thing. Here's my problem with the new game I've been playing, and the game's called Chess. And the problem with the game is that it really lacks the replayability.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a wipe cycle, and they haven't added new content in knows how long.
Yeah.
So here I am playing the same old
hundreds
chess.
of years since new content was added.
I know. And it's crazy that millions of people are still playing the game. So it's almost like I had the conversation fucking 27 times today. When I started, I did like 3 raids, and like 4 different times the whole idea was like, don't you think that when Streets comes out, like, you'll enjoy the game more?
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know how many other ways I'm gonna have to learn the following sentence. The problem with Tarkov, in my eyes, has nothing to do with content. I need to learn that in Korean, in Mandarin, in Russian, in Spanish, in French.
Have it play
Italian.
Like at the trams in Disney World, where it just continuously cycles through the language. Please remove your hands, por favor, a las manos. And it's just like,
I'm gonna set up the French lady Rousseau from Lost, how she set up that recorder.
Yes.
Like iteration 1 9 7 6 4 2. Oh, I'm on an island. Help me! In French or whatever.
Bro.
It's gonna be that, but me repeatedly being like, the problem is X, Y, and Z.
yeah. No, I mean, for sure, it's something that's hard to conceptualize in Tarkov. We've had lots of conversations about how open world, how we thought VoIP was going to play a part in that. Like we've had tons of conversations, but it's hard for people to conceptualize that because the path for Tarkov is so laid out by the developers, which is like Streets is coming next, and then story content, and then and then it's like the game's 1.0, and like, oh, okay, so that's going to fix the issues. Like, I understand a lot of it. But it really is funny when you think about some of the games with the highest replayability. Like, it is funny when you think about chess. Like, chess, that a game that's been around for hundreds, maybe thousands. I don't know numbers or history that well. Hundreds of years at least. And like, I'm gonna Google that face. Maybe not thousands.
1500s of years. Yeah.
Hey, 1500 though. That's 4 digits. But like, and people are still getting better at it. People are still mastering it. People are still doing something. And then we talk a lot about like DayZ. You and me reference that both as a game neither of us played a ton of, but as a game we see that has a ton of replayability, obviously. And like, we watch Smoke and JLK videos and stuff like that. We were having that same conversation the other day on stream where I was like, I can't believe nobody's made a better DayZ yet. It always just comes back to DayZ. But it's like, there's something else. There's to these experiences. It's not necessarily content. Like, DayZ is not a content-rich game. The DLC for chess hasn't come out yet. You know what I mean? It's like the structure and the foundation of these experiences are more replayable than Tarkov. And so Streets of Tarkov isn't going to fundamentally change that for Tarkov, unless in addition to that map, that patch also changes other things. You know what I mean? Like the timing might work out where it's Streets and a bunch of other stuff that makes it, and people will be like, see, I told you it was Streets, and it was like maybe not. But
So
yeah.
how I wonder how like the monetization of games going forward is going to change things, because I don't know that it would remotely be financially feasible for you're either an indie game company and you're
Yeah.
going to be basically making like a Rust or a DayZ with like 1 or 2 year ahead of graphics from where it started 5 years ago. Like it's
Yeah.
whenever they start behind, it's a new company, right? Like they're always a little bit
Yeah.
behind. So that's why you end up with like all of these games that almost like stagger in, where it's like this game's a
Yeah.
little better, lives a little bit longer. This game comes in, it's a little bit better, lives a little longer. And then the reason why it hasn't been done is because, first of all, there's been a million a million of those types of games, the survival games.
Yep.
There's a game I'm picturing in my head that I played that was like early access that was very much like it, and I don't even remember the name of it.
Dead Side.
Dead Side. I did a sponsored stream, played Dead Side, and it was like, when was the last time you heard the name Dead Side?
Yeah.
That game is probably a dead game. I don't know, but like the fact that I haven't even heard the name, I forgot it.
Yeah.
Says something. So, but I'm assuming that was an indie game company. So then think about how a game like DayZ, if Ubisoft made DayZ,
Yeah.
I want to know what elements of the game, what aspects of the game none of us have ever really thought of that would be dictated by the fact that nobody makes games anymore. Like back in the day, they'd make a game, they'd print it on a DVD, on a Blu-ray, put a $60 price tag on it, send them over to GameStop, and that was it.
Yep.
You know, now it's constant updates.
The ethos of gaming has changed. It's continual monetization. It is, and in some of the most predatory cases, actually restriction of core gameplay mechanics behind DLC or monetization further. Yeah.
So it seems like the strategies are basically like battle passes. They have all again, I've mentioned before, I've been watching all the Asmongold, and I don't play any MMOs, but he's always just reacting to the latest MMO, and it's either like these new MMOs that are crypto scams, or these other new MMOs that are like Kickstarter scams, or it's like WoW and why it's failing,
why
or
it
WoW
sucks,
and why it sucks, or WoW, or it's pay to win games that are exploitative, like Diablo.
Immortal. Yeah.
Is so bad. And how they use all of these basically like gotcha gambling mechanics, and all these different tactics around obscuring where the money's going. You buy blue gems, and then you turn that into dust, and then you turn that into platinum, and then gold, and then you can get 10 of them, and it unlocks a thing for a raid. And you don't realize that that's like $7 you just spend.
Yep.
And then but you can only buy gems in packs of like 5, but it takes 7 to do the thing.
Yep.
So then when you buy 2, you've got
3 left over,
one thing and some change. Well, now I can't do all with that, so then you got to buy another thing. So it's just predatory. That I think in Europe they're doing a lot.
A lot more than in the US.
A lot more than we are here. So we'll see. But all of that is just to say, like, I wonder what would happen with a game like DayZ if it had like a battle pass, or if it had like in-app purchase kind of sort of thing, gotcha mechanics. And the other aspect of why this popped into my head, because I'm seeing a model that maybe is more popular than I thought, but I had never really seen it or heard of it ever, really. Outside of, I know WoW has like a subscription, but other than that, I don't know if, I had Sega Channel when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Which was basically like Netflix for games, but via cable.
Yeah.
But like WoW has a monthly fee. Every other game I've ever bought, I've just purchased.
Yeah.
Before.
And even lots of MMOs are moving away from monthly fees.
but then a lot of I'm
But
seeing
then adopting
a
cash
pattern.
shops. Yeah.
I'm seeing a pattern now where the first one was Trackmania. Trackmania was the first game I've ever played where it's like $30 a year or whatever it is, I forget. $20 every 6 months. I don't know. Don't quote me on this. But then you realize that they can maintain the servers forever and keep doing some development and bug fixes to maintain the game, to keep it going.
Yeah.
While the community generated content keeps the cycle fresh and you can play it forever.
Yeah.
And then the second version of that was another Ubisoft game, one of the ones that I've been waiting for forever that got delayed like 2 years. And then randomly I find out, oh, it's coming out like Tuesday. Rocksmith Plus.
Oh.
The new version of Rocksmith, which for those who don't know, Rocksmith is basically Guitar Hero, but with a real
guitar. Like it really teaches you how to play.
And that's going to be a monthly fee. Now they're working on, they want to have like millions of songs in their library. They basically want to be like a Netflix, but for like guitar playing.
Interesting.
It's an interesting model. But then I think they also have a content engine. Like I could go in and put my songs in the game and you can chart it out. And so it's almost like it would be really cool to make your own songs or take indie songs or meme songs or whatever, and to be able to put that in and have people play along with it. So that seems like an interesting model too. I just wonder, like, Ubisoft this is the second one. I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is like what Ubisoft is going for. They want to have all of this where it's just like monthly service fees for all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because the bigger companies, they get bigger and bigger and have bigger design teams, and it's just not going to be feasible. There's not enough people buying the games to justify even a $60 price tag to make it worth the development time.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
I feel like we've hit a critical mass where
interesting.
You're going to be able to buy indie games for cash and then digitally, and then all the other big name games are going to turn into monthly fees. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
No, I see what you're saying.
See this as maybe a pattern. I don't know.
It's interesting. I mean, like, everything has got a cash shop. Everything's got a cosmetic store. You know what I mean these days. And then the spectrum, it's like having a cosmetic store is like standard now. And then the spectrum starts there and goes to like Diablo Immortal on the other end. And it's just crazy that that's where we are. Like almost every single game in every single genre. You know what I mean? You've got like battle royales having battle passes. You're having MMOs being able to buy mounts or buy XP boosts or whatever. And then you've got like the Cycle Frontier, which is the closest thing to Tarkov. Fundamentally, it's a very similar extraction-based shooter. That's got a cash shop for cosmetics only too. So it's like really, there's like no genre of game, maybe outside of single player games, that's like outside of the purview of like additional monetization, and that might take in many forms, like you were saying, maybe a subscription models, maybe just cash up, but like there are very few games that are just like $50 and then you have the whole experience anymore. Yeah. And it's interesting though, because like that's kind of part of that is reflected on the consumer side too. Like, I feel like these days, if you purchase a game and get 40 hours of entertainment out of it, people see that as like like an L, like a huge loss. Like, that's not enough. Like, the expectation is like every game that comes out, I need to be able to sink thousands of hours into this if it's good. And then instead of combating that from a development perspective, many people have just adopted it and go, well, then we need continuous funding. And that's why the cash shop is here. That's why the DLC is like here.
Self-fulfilling.
Yeah. They accepted that as like, but then oftentimes it doesn't end up going towards additional content. The games get stale or the games die out, but then they've made all their money off of the cash shop or whatever. It's just interesting, man. It's just interesting. I don't know. Yeah, and I get that to an extent because I love being able to put thousands of hours into a game, but it is this weird thing where like... How many games
did we... Like, every single game we had before games were on the internet...
Yeah.
Were all... I mean, even if they had... People weren't really commonly going through, and you weren't, like, grinding Ocarina of Time once you beat it, you were like
Yeah.
sick, and you went and rented a new game
new
from
game.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Right. And there's like the interesting thing where it's all about perspective, right? Like I bet you some kids would be totally fine dropping $35 to go to like to go to see a movie. You know,
Yeah.
to go see some new
For
like
2
Batman
hours.
remake or whatever. For 2 hours, the whole time they were on their phone, probably not paying attention, you know, hanging out with their friends, sneaking in nips of Smirnoff Ice or whatever, like, and then that's 2 hours.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be okay with spending the same amount of money on a game that would give them 150 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And even I'm the same way. I remember hearing like a video game journalist that like I'm a big fan of. I remember him talking about it and be like, talking about reviewing a game. He's like, I had like 100 hours in the game, and I remember thinking like,
100
when someone's
hours?
like, dude, I know the game, I have 100 hours. I'm like, what the? You don't know anything, you know?
You're a noob.
But but I mean, it also depends on the game,
For
right?
sure.
Like, to play an MMO versus a puzzle game, like,
Yeah.
you know, 100 hours into World of Warcraft, you literally know nothing. 100 hours into The Witness, and I hope you've beat the game.
Yeah.
You know,
multiple times. And then that's somebody put in chat that another side of it too is the internet and the meta mentality. It's like part of that desire for all that content. It comes from the fact that like you can kind of know everything instantly, and like you know what I mean. Nowadays games have alphas, public betas, multiple public betas, and then by the time a game launches, there's an infinite YouTube catalog on like this build, this class, this gun, this mage, this, that. And then you kind of skip what could be tens of, 30, 40, 50 hours of like, what kind of class do I want to play in this game? I'm feeling it out. What, how does this go? And there's this, FOMO of like this guild.
Build in that time though into, they think if they're watching 3 hours of guides, and it's not even to say that they're wrong. It's like the experience of the game.
Yeah.
If they watch 3 hours of guides and then played for 2 hours, it's like I just played the game for 5 hours.
Yeah. So it's such a really interesting. It's a really interesting thing. It would be, and then you go back to like something like DayZ, which has had relatively no additional, not relatively, of course, the modding community and even Bohemia, I think, does some stuff, but like relatively not a whole lot of content added to a game like DayZ. It's grown. Like, I think in the year 2022, it hit its like all-time peak concurrent viewership. Like a few months ago, Shroud and Summit were both playing it, and it was like, I think Shroud was playing with Smoke, which was like so sick, and it was crushing. And it's like, man, what is it about that? What makes it so replayable? What makes it so fun? I would be so interested to see somebody make a DayZ, not overcomplicate it, make it in a modern engine, make it with a player controller that feels like a PC video game, please. And like, just, I don't know, modernize it. You know what would be interesting? Did you ever play Fortnite? I played Fortnite
I played it, I played like 4 or 5 games.
I really liked Fortnite before, like, just as a casual thing to play with my friends before it got to the like, building the Taj Mahal and a half a side. I just couldn't compete with that. And then I found Tarkov, and it was but like Fortnite no build seems like a lot of fun, and Fortnite was fun. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is like one of the main characters of Fortnite, it was the map. And like early on, they like realized the map wasn't filled out enough, so then they filled out the map more, and then they started like with every season, every like 6 or 8 months, like they would like take a part of the map and move it and add a new named city, and it was like a new vibe. So like this place used to just be a housing development, now it's a golf course and resort, and Tilted Towers was the big place, and then they nuked Tilted Towers, so it was like a desolate wasteland now. And I was like, imagine a DayZ, imagine a map as big as Chernarus. And part of the replayability isn't skins or guns or something, but like imagine this military thing just isn't there anymore. And now it's this like you could take the map. And
so the map can evolve without needing, you wouldn't need new maps.
Exactly.
You could just tweak the Yeah.
If a map the size of Chernarus, if 28% of it changed, there'd be so much familiarity in being able to go and get loot, but then there would be like this catalyst for new content, everybody wanting to get there, but then people wanting to seize opportunities in other parts of the map, and you wouldn't have to add a whole bunch of like new guns, new stuff, new mechanics that end up convoluting the previous experience, because that's how you get the whole like, I miss old DayZ because we didn't have all these new things. Even Tarkov has that. We didn't have CMS kits or this or that. When you add too many new mechanics, but if the map is the main character, if your player controller's good, if the graphics are decent, and if the experience is good, and then all of that development time can be put into like a huge part of the map change. And you don't, and players, I truly believe, wouldn't care. You don't need lore. You don't need this. It's just like, that used to be a military compound. Now it's a wooded resort, and there's like all sorts of crazy stuff over there. And now the military zone's over here. Like, I bet people would love that. And then you get the whole, like, there was a whole thing after a while, like bring back Tilted Towers, and you could just like put part of the map back the way the old way, but then part of it new. I feel like that would be an infinite generation of generator of content for an experience that's very obviously fun to a large group of people. These people that are still playing a game like DayZ. I feel like that'd be fun.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I wonder is how much work would it be to make significant changes? Okay, maybe not significant, but make noteworthy changes to like a portion of map.
Yeah.
I want to know how much that compares to making a new map. I guess it depends on if you're talking about,
yeah,
if you're talking about Tarkov, it's different than if you're talking about
for
DayZ,
sure.
It's different than if you're talking about Fortnite. It's
for
different,
sure.
So
yeah, and so it was just an interesting idea. I think that's something that, I don't know. Yeah, the dev time, what it would require to do that, I have no idea. That's more like a player driven. Like, I just see the types of games people are drawn to. I see, why it is, because DayZ tried that with an entire new map. Namalsk was the whole new map, and some people liked it, and some people hated it, and some people this or that, and it's like it feels like the minorly shifting over time, because people enjoy familiarity and change at the same time a little bit. You know what I mean? If it's just like if they added Lighthouse and removed customs, people would be pissed. You know what I mean? Because it's like, so being able to, because the Chernarus is huge. These maps are humongous. You know what I mean? Being able to change a part of it and leave a lot of it means that, that's an excuse to go explore places I might not know as well, but I still get the familiarity if I can have the experience that I'm used to if I want.
So I think that one of the biggest challenges there is that both of those games, the biggest difference I think that's relevant to this, that's distinct from Tarkov, is the fact that a ton of other elements of the game, mechanics of the game, aspects of the game are tied to the maps being the way they are.
Yeah.
You can't change anything that has to do with a quest. Anything that might have a quest item or a quest area. There's no quests in Fortnite. There's no quests in DayZ. So if you do that, you then have to.
Yeah.
There is a lot that they would need to adjust about. Now, you could be clever about it, and there are ways to do this without completely, everything up. But you need to make sure that spawns work. That you need to make sure that the exfils aren't broken. You need to make sure that you need to potentially redistribute the loot areas.
Yeah. In a game like Tarkov, it would definitely be harder. And I don't even think it would work for Tarkov. I'm more just like, I keep seeing DayZ and just like wanting. It's the same thing with WoW. 50% of the reason I got excited for New World was because I want to play an MMO, but I don't want to play WoW. It's been going on too long. I don't want to be a new player in that experience. It seems old. There's too much I want to do. So like, it's the same thing with DayZ. Like, I watch Smoke all the time, and I'm like, man, I just want something new that captures this though, and iterates on it, and I want to jump on at the beginning. You know what I mean? So I don't even think Tarkov could. I think a big part of the replayability of DayZ is that you lose everything. You know what I mean? You use everything when you die. You know that you don't have this humongous stash of stuff to fall back on. And then
part of what's so enjoyable is the fact that it's almost like what makes the aspect of Tarkov that's so annoying is what makes it's like the good part about DayZ.
Yeah.
In a way, in that like it's always kind of like a nice little breath of fresh air, I suppose, when there's when you die and it's like, okay, you know, now everybody doesn't play the same way, but like when you die and you start off on the beach, you're like, all right, let's rebuild, right?
Exactly.
I don't have the same. I don't have the same feeling when it's
Yeah.
like when you either when you die in Tarkov or when it wipes.
Yeah.
Both of those things are. It's like more annoying when you die in Tarkov, and then it doesn't wipe enough to have that great feeling, right? Like you could have that potential feeling in DayZ every day, once a day,
Yeah.
you know, or more.
Yep.
Hmm.
And so like that, I think like, and that's what drew me to Tarkov, because that's what I used to hate about DayZ. I used to swore I never played DayZ because I didn't want that game. I didn't want a game where you lose everything. I want progress. I like accumulating wealth. I like accumulating stuff. But here I am 5,000 hours into Tarkov, and I kind of see it as a blessing and a curse. Like I want that, but I don't think we've nailed that down yet. I think it's, you know, there's too much stuff. There's too much money. There's too much, like imagine, okay, so let's say that you and I got our dream future. They released Streets, and then they released a Terminal, and then they started stitching them together, and they were like open world Tarkov, right? Like we've talked about that. I would love if they were like, all right, we're doing a massive overhaul to how loot is distributed on these maps, like the spawns of armors, P.A.C.As, class 3 armors, class 4 armors, guns. There's actually like rare places where you can find fully modded guns. Like on top of the rock on woods, it's super rare. It's too rare because this gun's not good. You can find a fully kitted SOT mod M4 with the Bravo or with the Elcan and the canted Delta point. Like what if they, like in a perfect world, wouldn't it be interesting if they took elements from that where like if you like you might not even go back to your hideout. You might just go into customs and go kit up.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That would be a really interesting, like we got to this open world Tarkov and your hideout isn't so stacked with gear. Like you're working on like, you know, crafting some ammos and some stuff, but it's not just this like endless supply of loot and gear and meds where you're kind of like, it'd be interesting if it was like a 50-50. You're like, you know what? I might as well just like run in and try and kit up, like, and do a haul and go get some meds or go get some stuff and bring them back to my hideout. Like, I just think that I think the less access to everything we have, the closer we get to that experience. And I do want a new experience. I don't want the just DayZ experience on over and over and over again where we just die and lose everything every time we die. But I do think it's too, we have access to a little too much. And it'd be interesting to see how the open world, you know, I know Copium, open world Tarkov, LOL, but it would be interesting to see how the open world played into that, where right now there's just nothing to do in the world, right? Like if you were gonna do like a YouTube video where you were like DayZ and Tarkov, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna kit up, it would take you, it's like you wouldn't be able to effectively go find a gun without finding a scav gun and dropping a PMC. Like, you know, the only access in Tarkov right now, especially 2 or 3 months into a wipe, is like 20 durability scav guns and good kits. There is no in between. There is no like, I'm going to hop into woods, I'm going to play slow. Like it would take you so long to acquire an armor, a good gun, a few attachments, some meds if you did it the DayZ way. So it would just be interesting to see them. Once again, I don't want Tarkov to be DayZ, but for them to like trend in that direction where like the world was a character and you could actually go and participate and like get that stuff in the world too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I did spend the last couple days playing a bit of Tarkov.
I saw that.
And then I came out with a video about the fragmentation, which
I watched. It was so interesting.
Dude, I don't. My heart hurts.
So the TLDR is a ridiculous claim came across your desk, which was that fragmentation doesn't work on PMCs or something like that. And
fragmentation does not work on PMC. So, okay, wait.
The original claim was like, something's wrong with fragmentation. It's not working on PMCs.
Yeah. And so so many people in the comments section just didn't understand. Like I would say 40% of the comments are like, "Wow, that explains this total misunderstanding. It explains this total misunderstanding of the game and of this video."
That explains why the Steam audio is broken.
Yeah, or it's either that or a decent chunk of the comments, unfortunately, were like, "This video's wrong." Because I got one tapped by Sherman to the chest, and it's like, I have to go back and watch, but I'm like, I'm fairly certain that at least twice I like referenced like PMCs, but maybe it wasn't exactly clear. The point is, if you are a PMC and you shoot another PMC, so like we're talking about PvP here,
yeah,
no bullet in the game is going to fragment
in the thorax,
to the chest, or to the stomach. So if you want more information, watch the video. I was really surprised at how much it blew up. I haven't had because I've been doing stuff on my alt channel, not making Tarkov videos. It's been a while since I've had a 73,000 view video in one day. Like, oh well, me, I guess.
Yeah, it was a good video, and it was a good thumbnail and title. Anyways,
so, but here's the reason why I'm like sad. I'm not surprised by this in the game. I'm sad that I don't play the game. So this has, according to a couple people, and as well as Desmond, and I believe Desmond now, that this has been in the game for like a few wipes.
Yeah.
And how many times I've talked about like how obfuscated all of the elements of the ballistic system are, to the point where unless you're doing controlled tests, everything is a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Was I just unlucky, or was it broken? Or like, you can never know. Here's an example. I haven't played the game in 4 months.
Yeah.
This has been broken for at least 4 months.
Yeah.
And me, the guy who hears people bitch about everything and say everything is broken in the wrong way, not a single person until Desmond came to me and said this to me. And nobody, like, this is one of the most important mechanics of the game. Fundamentally broken. It took me 10 minutes to figure it out once I knew what to look for. And yet nobody knew, nobody said anything.
I'd never heard that. I had never heard that. I mean, unless Desmond had said something to me in the past, I don't remember ever hearing anybody say that
if he did, I would have like giggled it off. Like,
that was a thing. You know what's crazy though is that, like, so there's a lot to unpack here. Have you done any testing, or has anybody? I don't know, because once again, I just plead ignorance and my life is easier. Has there been any official testing done on, like, when Sturman hits me once?
No.
Okay.
But it's been confirmed by the devs.
It's double damage, or it's fragmentation. What's been confirmed by the devs?
I don't know exactly what the reasoning is. I know that it was, I'm surprised Velian must have said something to you, because Velian, and I've talked to Velian like 3 times.
Yeah.
He showed me a tweet from Tobias from March.
Oh yeah. He told me about that tweet, but I don't have it. Like, I don't have it up. I haven't seen the tweet. Did he tag you in it recently?
No. He sent me a message on Twitter.
Okay.
When I was like doing this testing, and was like, yo, I know you're testing some. Did you look at this? And it was Tobias's tweet that said, "Escape from Tarkov community, tell me 2 truths and a lie." And he's like, here's mine. 1, I miss the days where a shot to a blackened limb would insta-kill you. 2, I know the release date for Streets of Tarkov. 3, the double hit with 1 bullet issue is a confirmed bug and not fragmentation.
And the lie.
And then after I had to be like, I have no idea which ones any of those could be true or the lie. And he ended up clarifying, basically saying that number 2, which was that he knew lie. So he doesn't know Streets is, he didn't know when Streets was coming out, obviously.
And that was back when he worked at BSG.
Yeah, and he confirmed it like yesterday.
So that's like a pseudo confirmation that the known bug is that when bosses hit you, it's double damage and it's not fragmentation.
He didn't say bosses
Yeah.
specifically, but if we know that this thing seems to occur from bosses, or at least I'm taking everybody's word for it because like 19 million people all commented on it. And then we also know that the whole the double hit with one bullet issue, that would look pretty much not exactly, but it would be a little bit better than a fragmentation.
Yeah, it would do more damage.
It would be a little bit more of a crit. So that would make me think if that was in the game, then nobody would have noticed, including Desmond, the issue where nothing fragments, right?
Yeah. But that's the thing, is like my complete bro science here. I don't like, and it's I have done no testing, and I could have. I've had plenty of time. Was that like, it seems like it's only the AI that like gives me the double damage bug. And when people say it's like, so here's a bunch of things I'm just gonna rattle off. When a bullet fragments, at the after action screen, does it say that bullet hit you like you got hit by that bullet 2 separate times, or does it say hit by the bullet and then bullet fragmentation for additional damage? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, I think it's only the AI that has the, what the community calls the double damage bug that some people argue is fragmentation. And the reason for that is 100% of the times in the past 2 years that I've died, went to the after action screen and be like, wait, he only shot me once. Why does it say 4 hits? It's always been from AI. That's never happened where a PMC shot me once. I got to the after action screen and it said 3 hits or 2 hits or 4 hits. So it seems like it's only AI, and it seems to me like, yeah, it actually is a bullet hitting me more than once, because sometimes I get that little notification where it says fragmentation damage, and I'm like, where is that? Like, I can hear one shot, fall over dead from Sturman, go to the end screen, and it says PS parentheses 3. And I'm like, how did I get shot 3 times? Their chat's like fragmentation. I'm like, where does it say that though?
Yeah, and the fact that that Tobias had effectively tweeted out that there was a confirmed bug 6 months ago,
yeah,
means that it's been in the game for a year.
Yeah.
Because they never find anything quickly, and they haven't done anything about it in 6 months.
Yeah.
They've known about an issue where you are explicitly just getting, and this isn't like the hardcore punishing thing. You're explicitly getting by the game. You're just
getting completely bent over.
And this, keep in mind the context of 6 months ago or whatever, this is in the midst of me making a video about how bad the AI is and me asking them to make them less accurate. And Nikita says no, and he doubles down and he makes them more accurate. And then there's a bug that makes it so that they do double damage. So they're hitting you 95% of their shots, and it's doing 200% damage, when really they should be doing 100% damage 15% of the time. And all the other times they should miss.
Yeah.
So it's just more for me to get salty and bitch about, and to take it personally, that it's like, it's so hard for me to stay positive now, because I've always been the champion of be like, don't attack the devs, don't call them names, don't whatever. If they make mistakes, call them out on their mistakes. Remember, there's a human being there. Try to be reasonable, try and understand. And also, if you're a player, recognize that, it's a beta. I know it's a meme, but it is a beta. So you shouldn't expect perfection. You should expect issues. And then on the flip side, it's reasonable and fair for us to expect that when we report issues, that they do something about it. And now I'm to the point where, like, Nikita, if you're watching, I love you, man. But there's only so long that we can talk about major issues with the game, and this isn't even, I personally think there are major issues with like movement and all these other things and netcode, but I'm not even gonna go there. Major issues with the basic mechanics of pulling the trigger and shooting somebody, and having that be completely broken and out of whack for half a year, and you know about it and do nothing about it except for make other changes that exacerbate the issue. To me, it makes me feel like you just don't care.
Yeah. There's 2 things in there. One, they're like, exactly like you said, that it's a beta excuse only works if like, then exactly, we have to, within reason, be able to expect that when we talk about things or bring up issues that they get fixed. And two, like you said, there's a difference between complaining about the balance of something and complaining about a bug, because we might disagree on the balance, on how movement should be, on how slow your character should move. But if it's a well-known, documented, like we said, confirmed by a dev 6 months ago, he said the B word, bug, that completely detracts from the player experience by getting shot and having more damage dealt to us. That is a justifiable thing to get frustrated about. You know what I mean? Like, that's hard to defend.
Yeah, it's like, part of me just wants to say, like, take some pride in your work. And, you know, and this isn't me saying we don't want streets, we want you to fix netcode, as if that wasn't a brain dead, completely, like, I already hate the argument of, you know, I said it a million times way back when people started to say it, and then now it's the common, I mean, I'm not saying I started it, but like, the common response from people being like, yes, I've heard this before. The people that make the content aren't the people that do the. It's like such a dead, trotted out like discussion that goes nowhere.
To me, man, once again, it comes down to like communication. In certain ways, man, BSG does a really good job at it, and they do these podcasts, and we get to actually see Nikita. He does Q&A with community members. Like, Nice Guy gets to just like every once in a while have a Q&A. He did a Q&A with like the like Russian ladies and stuff like that. Like, that's cool. But
communication is two ways.
Well, 100%, yeah. Like that's the thing. That's actually a great way to segue into my point, was that there's very little to any BSG initiated communication. We get a podcast 1 to 2 months before a significant patch, a few times a year, and that's it. And I say it every time, and I'm gonna bring it up again. Scam Citizen is incredible at it. Now it's frustrating, because if you're a Star Citizen fan, you feel like you're putting yourself through a cheese grater, because for the past 3 years they do like 3 shows a week. And it's just been they talk about the same things for 3 years. You know what I mean? But like, they do a really good job at communicating. They they do like monthly reports on like what each team and each studio is working on. They do weekly shows where like they have like a guy, Jared, who's hired there to like be their media guy, and they do weekly shows where they talk about, like, they'll have like a theme. They're talking about the AI, and we're really working on making the AI navigate the maps and feel more whatever. You know what I mean? And they do like these Q&As, and we don't get any BSG. Oh yeah, and then their roadmap is insane. Once again, I'm not saying every single one of these things Battlestate games should do. I'm just saying to paint a picture of what Star Citizen does. They do multiple weekly shows, monthly reports. They have a roadmap that gets changed, I think, every week or every 2 weeks, where like you can actually see like the development card of something move and just be like, hey, this got in the way of this, so this gets moved later. We pulled this up. And it's like, you can be as involved in that as you want. I'm not saying all of those things are required for Tarkov at all. But I'm saying is like, there's no BSG initiated. How much better would it at least feel for us to know? Like, even if it would be a dick move, it would still feel better than right now for them to be like, we are aware of these issues in regard to hit reg and like double damage and stuff like that. We are not developing, we're not putting people over there yet because we're working on this.
That's only good though if in 6 months they've done something about it.
For sure.
Because again, Tobias effectively reached out to the community. It was a meme tweet, but we were aware of the issue 6 months ago and nothing's happened. So
yeah,
to me, I would be fine if they pulled No Man's Sky right after release and just shut the up if they delivered.
Yeah.
But instead, every time they got on every podcast, when I was in Tesman's stream the other day, he was my malding spirit animal, where he was just like, every podcast, and I love all the people that are on the podcast.
No, for sure.
I just don't love the. It's like an interview full of softballs when you want someone to get grilled.
Yeah.
You know, you want the interviewer to ask the hard questions rather than like, oh, give us some updates on Streets of Tarkov, what are you guys doing, all that, so. But something that came to mind that I need to say is that everybody that I was just saying that's wrong, they've actually been right this whole time, and for the wrong reason. There is actually, and I'll be the first to say, nobody said this before. Get ready for all the comments being like, actually, I said this.
I said this
on a Reddit post 4.5 years ago in the third page of a forum response. I'm actually going to go out and say that, make the point that the people that build features are not the people that add content. The people that test both are the same. If they add 10 new guns and add 3 new features, they have to split up all of the testing, make sure all the guns working and the animations working. So, now in 5 minutes I've completely flip-flopped, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think that the content can actually have a detrimental impact on the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Not because it's the same people working on it.
Yeah.
But because you have to, if they want to put it out and they want it to work, they have to test it. And their testing is so egregiously, atrociously, pitifully bad.
Yeah. Well, but then even if they wanted to say, yeah, our testing is bad, you guys are the testers, back to your point, then deliver. Then give us a crappy patch, let us figure out all the bugs, let us mold about it, and then fix them. Like even if it went all the way to the extreme, they're not fixing the things that are found.
That would be true for any company that I worked at previously. That would be a true statement, because when we had beta testers, the beta testing process would be, we got them in a room, we told them what their expectations were, we blinded them from certain aspects, we watched them do the thing with literal video cameras recording them. We'd have sessions afterward where we analyzed mistakes that they made or things that diverted from whatever the intended experience was, where they ran into issues, where there was frustrations, and then we asked them afterward for their feedback, and then we'd interview them, and then we'd put all that into a thing to then use for feedback. What they do is they say test the stuff and report the bugs. So then we report the bugs, and then we get gaslit by the customer support people that all they do is ring us around and say, have you checked your router settings? Can you give me your, have you made sure that have you talked to your internet service provider? If we're the testers, then they don't treat us like the testers, Yeah. So you can't have it both ways.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If you want us to test, you need to give us the tools, and you need to be competent enough to be able to gather that information and to be able to turn that into good results. And they're not doing that from their QA team, from us QA team, from fall. So,
and that was, somebody put it in chat, and it's so true. That was why it just felt like this weird twist of the knife when Nikita on the recent podcast was like, yo, check out these new Glock animations. And everybody was like, even I'm a huge proponent of well, the people that make the animations aren't the people fixing bugs. But I was like, what are we doing? We're spending 5 minutes of this podcast showing off Glock animations when the animations in this game are the best animations in any game ever. And it's like, I don't know what to say.
Dude, he didn't even give a
yeah, no.
He didn't even, he literally said something along the lines of, somebody thought it would be good to show Glock animations.
Yeah, he did.
Fire them. Don't fire them. They're probably fine. But God, it's.
And once again, I don't know, man. I'm ignorant on game development. I'm ignorant on what's going on behind the scenes. I'm ignorant on if there's some, you know what I mean? It's all the excuses. Yeah, for sure. I'm the BSG show, whatever. That maybe there's this
internal, dude, that doesn't matter. Your ignorance no longer matters. But you have enough to say whatever you're going to say. Say it with confidence. You don't need to talk to these simp idiots. Come on.
But that's what I was going to say was that my position is changing the longer I'm a part of this project and the longer I'm part of this game. And the position is that
You're turning gray like me.
I still recognize my ignorance. Like through the whole thing, I still recognize that there could be these things, that there could be internal hurdles, there could be stuff holding it back. But as the years go by, my expectation isn't that the things can just be magically fixed. But my expectation is that, like, if these things can't be fixed or won't be fixed, that it needs to be communicated in some way. Like they have to either have accountability or communication, preferably both. But I do think that like this, I think the project's been around long enough that that's not unreasonable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the project's been around long enough for it's not in bad faith to be frustrated. I'm saying for other people that struggle with or not for other people. I'm just saying that I feel like I can't make any more excuses for them, and it's just like there's no more faith. Like there's no more like good faith to give on like maybe it's like I don't feel like it's unreasonable for for a person to have been playing this game for 3, 4, or 5 years and be frustrated that they're not communicating with us and they're not fixing these things that have been in the game for a long time. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just personally don't give a what they communicate. I don't care. Yeah. I want them to put up and shut up at this point, because the more they communicate, sometimes the worse it gets. We haven't gotten like what good has come from them telling us anything.
Yeah.
Other than to get us. Sometimes they get us hyped and they deliver.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get us hyped and they don't deliver. And then sometimes, and everything else is in the middle. Everything else is Glock animations. So, like, so yeah, there's that. There's a couple things that I was thinking about while I was playing. I genuinely feel like the last week I've had a different perspective on the game since I took a break and then kind of came back and then started to play a little bit more. There's a few different things I think are worth discussing.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. I'm looking at my notes and I'm trying to remember. I always write random. I'm like, I know
Yeah.
I know when I read this in the future, I'll remember what I was thinking. So, and maybe if I just spit this out, it'll make sense. If you had to choose between a high time to kill and low recoil, that's scenario A, right? There's every bullet, every gun's a laser beam, and but you know it
takes a bunch of shots. Yeah,
takes a bunch of shots to kill. Versus the opposite, right? There's a ton of recoil, but one bullet kills. Which one feels more skill based? Which one would you prefer? Which one makes a better game? Now, granted, this is a false dichotomy. You can have it somewhere in the middle, right? But for the sake of discussion,
I don't like these questions because I feel like I picked the wrong one for what you're about to say.
No, I'm not trying to like lead the witness here. If you disagree with what I'm gonna say, I will love to hear you explain it.
For Tarkov, I would love to experience it with high recoil and low time to kill.
Isn't that what it is now?
No, it's low recoil, low time to kill.
So reset your account, grab a gun and play, and tell me that.
Yeah, for a week. Then I'll get to level 15 and get a voodoo.
Because you've been playing the game for 3 years. So here's
maybe.
I am recently flip-flopping on a lot of things, and maybe it's because I'm wrong and I have a different perspective, but maybe it's also because things are changing. And I think a lot of people that have historically been wrong about things are now, that sentiment is becoming truer for different reasons.
Yeah.
I now think that the undergeared person. Like, remember the video? I don't know if you ever saw the video where I'm like, people say gear matters, and it's me taking out squad groups of Giga Chads with fast MTs, and all I have is a Grotch and a Makarov and a TT, and I would just pop, headshot, pop, you know, whatever. There is so many aspects of the game that have changed, whether it's the movement, the recoil, the inertia, the weight, the way that the stock guns feel, the way the reloading magazines combined with medical animations combined with just all of the things together has now gotten to the point where I think the gear difference between like a new level 2 and like an experienced level 30 is the biggest it's ever been. It's so, dude, back in the day, I used to be able to, and I still do every now and then hop in a Scavern with some garbage and pick somebody off, get lucky, and grab their stuff and leave. But, dog, do you know how hard it is when you have an AK-74 without a dust cover and the rear sight missing, and you spawn in as a scav, and you turn and you see 2 PMCs, and they've got decent gear? With the movement and the jitteriness and the visual, I mean, again, everything together, dog, that's like impossible.
Yeah, but like, you're not wrong. Like, I agree with you there, but I think it's like, the problem is we're not talking about a level playing field. Like, when you say, do you want low TTK, high recoil, or the original question, I'm thinking through like the entire either the entire player base or across the entire gear spectrum. But that's the thing, is you're like we have high recoil right now with low time to kill, and it's like we have high recoil with 75% of the guns, and the economy is set up in the way that the 25% of the guns are infinitely runnable. So it's like, yeah, a stock AK is, but like an RD704, a Mutant, an MP7 with subsonic, P90 with SB193, a Scar, an AK101, like all of these guns are laser beams. And then
no, they're only laser beams if you have level 3 traders and 150,000 rubles to mod them. Which I'm gonna say the thing that I've been rebelling against forever, but if you play only a couple days a week, it's a much steeper uphill battle than it has ever been to do anything other than run, grab, and run away and hide in exfil and sell it on the flea, which is not Tarkov.
No, I'm trying to agree with you here. Let me continue. So what I'm saying is that you're absolutely right. So when you asked me, what do I want, blank or blank? And I said, I want high recoil, low time to kill. What I'm saying is I want that for everybody before we say it's bad. We don't have that for everybody. I'm saying I agree with you. I'm saying if you have 1,000 hours in the game, after a week, you get access to low recoil, low time to kill. So it's unfair to say I'm not saying you said this. I'm saying it would be unfair to say our current system is bad and it's high recoil, low time to kill, so high recoil, low time to kill is bad. What the reality is it's high recoil, low time to kill for new players, low recoil and low time to kill for experienced players, and I agree that disparity is bad. You're saying it's hard. You're saying it's hard when right now when you don't feel like it can be like the old days where you can take out a TT. You can't take out a TT, but at level 1 traders or level 2 traders, you could take out a RFB with M80 and an L-can. And Veritas with an RFB, M80, and an L-can can wreck.
Okay, no, so let me clarify. There's a few more aspects to it, I think, that we're missing. One, someone in chat just said, to be honest, right now is more RNG recoil, low TTK, more than high recoil. And that's kind of part of when I talk about all of the things combined, the fact that you can't like side, like crouch, kind of side walk, strafe while shooting with a stock gun. It's like this. Yeah. As a good player, the whole beginning can often feel really I really wish I could remember exactly everything I was thinking when Desmond was on a mauled trip on his stream the other day, because it was perfect. He was basically saying how we were looking at all the old guns, how fun it was grabbing a jank gun, putting a weird sight on it and a weird grip, and you could use it, and it was fun. And it was fun when you're level. Look at all the videos, all of us Giga Chads in 0.9. We weren't running meta.
Yeah.
What was fun was running funky, weird viewer kits and all this wacky stuff, because that is what the variety was, the spice of the game. Now,
true.
Every gun is only usable if it's maxed out. Everything else is boring. And in my opinion, that's kind of antithetical to the whole point of the game, and also has the side effect of being complete and utter dog for basically every new or casual player, and every player in the beginning of their progression cycle, so to speak. And it's a thing that it feels bad. A game shouldn't be it feels like until finally you unlock the things that make it not feel like.
So I agree with you. And honestly, in that little speech and remembering some of the older days, you've kind of convinced me like already that I think you're right. But I think it's important to know the point I'm making is that right now, the point I'm making is the point you're making is right now we have an inconsistent experience for new players and veteran players, right? We have an inconsistent experience. And so what I'm saying is that I'd like to flatten that experience and then try both.
So
does that make sense?
I'm remembering the whole point of this now. The whole point was not to say is not to say we're on one side of the spectrum and we need to be on the other. Because that's a false dichotomy. That's not what I'm saying. But the point is to say, if you had to choose which one would be more skill based, in which world, and all of this is
that's a huge difference.
And all of this is to put try to get a bullseye on something so that I can then focus on the thing I wanted to talk about. So when you have recoil that is random, and you can die to one shot. If you have two people, they do the whole walk 20 paces, turn around, pull your gun out, and shoot. When the optics are, you got the iron sights.
Low recoil, high time to kill is definitely more skill based. And like I said, even just you kind of talking about some of the old ways and how like back in the old I have like, you know how you have questions that you get asked as a streamer that you just you say it, you respond the same way every time because you've just been asked it so many times. Every time somebody asks what my favorite gun is, I always say, probably the M4 because you can build it so many different ways and it's fun. The origin of that response was back when you could build the M4 14 different ways. And
when you said that, I was like, I hope he's going to say that you had to go back in time.
Exactly. That was the origin of that response. But nowadays, there's like two builds that are usable. One that's definitively better than all the rest. The other ones are usable, but there's one that's good. And even that's not as good as an AK-101, even though it costs quadruple the amount. So that's a different question. If you're asking what's more skill-based, that. If we're asking if I had to guess right now what would be more fun, I would also put a pin in low recoil, high time to kill. What I'm saying is if anybody out there, I'm not even saying you were saying this, everybody out there is saying right now we have high recoil, low time to kill, I don't think that's fair because the network sucks, the economy sucks, the low tier guns have insanely high recoil, but 4 high tier guns have insanely low recoil. LPVOs are way too available. And so right now the meta is recoil is irrelevant. There are more SR25s out right now than there have ever been. Recoil is more irrelevant now than ever because it's so inconsistent, because everything the game tells us about recoil is complete and utter bullcrap and meaningless. LPVOs are available basically day 3 of the wipe, and M80 is available day 1 of the wipe. So like, the meta we have right now is no recoil because it doesn't matter. Low time to kill and LPVOs mean everything is a one tap.
Yeah, so a great example, well, there's 2 examples. One of them I tweeted a clip at you, or I tweeted a clip and mentioned you.
Holy
and then another
cow,
one
that
was
got out of control.
I didn't even read it. Oh God. But an example is, let's say I'm running through woods. I'm like level 11 now. I've got a bunch of decent in my inventory. I've got some level 5, level 6 armors, but I don't have any optics. I've got no way to mount anything. Like, so, here's what happens. I'm running along through woods. I'm doing my best to move from cover to cover, but it's a giant ocean of grass that you just need to run and hope nobody sees you. And then you come across 2 guys with good armor. And now granted, I've got BT maybe, but mostly probably PS 545.
Yeah.
In a scav boss gun, which is like cha-ching at 80% durability.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're lucky.
So this is just an example of really frustrating design where I'm running, I see the guys, and it's like, oh, I got the drop on them, but they're gonna see me in 1 second, and I aim, but I've got a dot that is blurry and I can barely see, and I pull the trigger and I line up a headshot, and I go bang, and you see the guy take the headshot either because it was a ricochet or because it didn't pen his helmet, and he turns at me. What is my alternative now? I go and pray, but then the gun is all over the place. There's no recoil, and so there's a ton of recoil that is completely uncontrollable, totally random. Not to mention that bullet suppression effects. I can't see anything, and all the guy needs to do is turn, look at me, and go click, and I'm dead, right? Because he's got an LPVO. Even if I was wearing armor, he's got armor penning stuff, it wouldn't matter. So it's like one of those things where we talked about how much fun it was when there's no optics and everybody's shooting all. It's only fun if everybody experiences that. So that's one experience where it's like the randomness. You have actually the worst of both worlds, because that guy has a high time to kill. I have a high time to kill on him. He's got a one-shot TTK on me. He's got no recoil, and I've got all the recoil. It's it wasn't back in the day. I could go prone with an AK-74 stock with a 60-round magazine, and I could lay down fire like an LMG with a bipod. And the 2 guys would be like, oh, and they'd be getting hit, and they'd be moving around, and they'd be taking armor damage, and I'd be able to hit with shots. But when I sit there, I fought a pair of guys. I went through 4 magazines, 2 jams, and they wouldn't kill me. And nothing, all the magazines, the jams, and the missed shots were largely due to RNG, not due to skill, because I can't control when I'm getting either aim punched or the recoil is random. There's nothing you can do other than slow down and try to time your shots, but you can't do that when it's like, I've got time to take 1 bullet and I'm dead.
I agree.
So you sort of have to kind of just say, well, YOLO, and hold down mouse 1. They completely and utterly up. I had the most amount of opportunities that anybody would have in that situation, and it still wasn't enough. The only way I would have been able to do it is if they completely bricked. I perfectly lined up a headshot, head tap with iron sights at 50 meters. Head tap, head tap, head tap. And I could hit 4 headshots on 2 targets moving with iron sights. And I got lucky on the pen and the ricochet. Like, that whole experience is terrible.
For sure. And in general, like, a large part of what I want to do, or what I would love to see, is like basically adding compression to Escape from Tarkov systems. It's like, I agree. I want the stock guns to have better, like, to be more viable. I want them to be, lower recoil, better used and stuff like that. But I want to compress the experience for the player. And that's why, like, a lot of the changes I have, recommended in the past, like, drive things back to, like, in the game. You know what I mean? Because, like, that was way back the original conversation we had about, like, the civilian flea market. Remove guns, remove this from the flea market. Like, that was the thing, is like if this stuff was in the game, in the actual world, and everybody had an equal opportunity to find this gun or this thing in a secret stash, then it's less of a big deal that the guy that plays 10 times more than you has a few extra than you, because you know he found it. But like everything, to the point you made earlier, everything right now is just like everybody can still buy so much of everything. But if you're low level, like you were saying, you have the worst of all the worlds. If you're a low level and you killed Scav Boss and you thought you were on the come up and you've got his AK, like that's garbage. That's a garbage gun. It's going to have so much recoil. He probably didn't have great ammo in it. And you're going to come across somebody with an LPVO because he can buy those off the flea market and buy them on reset. A mutant because he can buy that on reset, or an RG704. Super good armor that he can barter for on reset. And exactly, he's got the worst of every world, and he doesn't really stand a chance against that person. So like, I don't want to make it harder for new players. You know what I mean? I want to compress the experience so that more of it is shared, and then the experience of the player, or the, you know, the amount of time the player can invest, can show itself in different ways. But I definitely agree with what you're saying. The problem is that like it's so complicated, and there are so many other things that attach themselves to this: the network, the desync, the the armors and the traders and the availability and the levels and the quests, and it's all like, it all just like muddles up the experience. I don't know.
Yeah, so, and one of the things that like I've been, you know, thinking, and people have been saying, and I've been saying for so long, is like, you know, maybe I'm just out of practice, right? And I'm old and I'm washed up and whatever. And that's why it feels like. And then it felt actually good to hear Desmond like mauling about it the other day.
Yeah.
Because he was going back through all of the old Tarkov clips, showing all of these situations that just wouldn't happen today. They could not happen today. I used to, every other raid back in the day, and this isn't only just because everybody sucked back then. It was because of the way that the game felt and the way that the game was balanced, and a lot of other things. Every other raid, I could go take out a squad of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Every other raid, I could do that. Now, it's a coin flip whether I win a 1v1 on somebody who I know is coming and I ambush them.
Yeah.
So the thing that I tweeted to you, right, that video where it was like in factory, I was at the top of the stairs. I heard the guy reload. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna push him. You kind of jump down, and that entire engagement was just randomness.
Yeah.
I literally put my mouse directly, like if you hover over where the center of the screen would be, where the gun would be pointing when my aim resets, it would have been a perfect headshot.
Yeah.
But because of the awkwardness of like the landing and the moving, the gun was wacky and all over the place. And then after I'm shooting and I'm finally able to sort of get it up, I get hit with a bullet, which then takes my arms to the left. So then what I need to do is move the mouse to the right. But then as I'm doing that, I'm also taking a step, and the inertia and the weight is making this go. And then I get hit with another shot. And then my optic is all crooked, and my screen is getting blurry. And it's like, I don't care. Don't bring not you, but anybody.
No, yeah.
The whole like, you try to get the gunfight with a rifle 5 feet in front of your friend, think that you could. It's a game.
Yeah.
And if a scenario like that where you catch someone off guard, you make a smart decision, you're aggressive and you push them, and you are disciplined and have aim.
Yeah.
I promise you, if there wasn't any of the recoil, aim punch, blurring, movement of the new, I would have owned him.
Yeah.
In 2018, I win that fight. In 2017, I win that fight. In 2019, I win that fight. In 2020, I win that fight. 2021, it becomes a little bit more of a coin flip. In 2022, it's a complete and utter coin flip.
Yeah.
And then and not to mention all of the other things that they did. Whereas back in the day, remember how much people would maul and complain and how overpowered hip firing is overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
So then they went and they nerfed the out of point firing. And then you were basically like, you're going to get so punished because they added a ton of RNG to point firing. So then we all had to relearn to now aim even when we're relatively close quarters. And then now all of a sudden, because of the aim punch and all of the movement and inertia to try to nerf the Chads, jiggle peeking and blah, 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 and all that other, they made it for them and worse for us. Because now go to Desmond Pilak's stream, ask him about it. He'll tell you all about how it was bad before and it's even worse now for everybody.
Yeah.
All the jiggle peeking and the sidestepping and all that other, like, they didn't solve that. They just made it feel awkward and slow and sluggish for everybody. And even the Giga Chads, a lot of them, many of them, who are far better than you, commenter, chatting, capital C, and me, far better than me, and far better than the vast majority of the player base. Well, they're not as good as insert streamer here. They hate the way the game feels now, too.
Yeah.
So you can't hide behind the whole, it doesn't feel good for you. That's just because you're bad or you're old, or you're washed up, and you need to get used to it. And all of these people that are the best, the fact that there are people who are the best is somehow a defense that the mechanics are good.
Yeah. Because
people can, it's like cheesing rogues. Because people are able to master a bad system doesn't mean it's a good system.
Yeah.
There is a way to make it so that the game, like, honestly, this is the best metaphor I ever came up with. The best metaphor I've ever come up with, and I've come up with some doozies, was the fact that playing Escape from Tarkov is like riding a horse that does not want you to ride it.
Yeah.
You're like, go left, and he's like, no, f off, and then it's trying to kick you off the whole time.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, you're like, no, please, horsey, come on. You were so much fun when I rode you when I was a child, and the thing is trying to bite you and kick you and flipping over.
Yep.
All I want is to, like, I want to ride a horse that's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, Dad. Let's gallop through the desert. It'll be beautiful. It'll be wonderful. I want to be able to race everybody else on horses that they also like riding and let the fastest man win.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the Giga Chad 27-inch bicep, you know, insert the meme of the Giga Chad guy. He's hanging from the neck of the horse, got it in a grip with a knife to its neck, a gun to its temple, and he's the fastest, baby. You see that horse is like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, and he's the fastest, and that's the way we're supposed to ride horses from now on.
That was the best metaphor you ever got.
If I could draw, I would draw the picture I just had of the way the Chads would have to wrangle the horse to make it ride good. But yeah, anyway, and I know that to a lot of people this is just going to sound like more Veritas molding, but this is an evolution of my frustration to another level, to the point where I've actually said multiple times in the last 48 hours, and I've been enjoying my time playing Tarkov, and I'm using air quotes here, more than I have in the last 5 months. But that's because A, I don't give a f, and B, I've been doing a lot of like testing and offline. But it's because I'm just going to go out on a limb and say I have no faith anything is ever going to be good and be fixed. I don't care anymore. The reason why I put out these videos, and I got so much more positivity on that video than I expected. I was like, I'm going to get welcomed back into the Tarkov community. Here we go. And it was like 99.999% positive. It was fantastic. And I'm super stoked, and I want to make more videos. But I'm going to make all of these videos not because I want to help the game become the best game it's going to be. The thing that people have been like defending me for doing, and rightfully so, for so long now, it's because I am using it as a medium to point out what game design is. Escape from Tarkov is that for me. It is my palette paintbrush to point out everything that's wrong with video games right now.
Yeah. I feel
And my soapbox is crushed underneath my feet. It's covered in piss and cake, and I'm sweating.
Wow.
So let's talk about Hot D. I watched 15 minutes of it and was like, this is boring. And then I played Hearthstone and watched YouTube.
I understand what you're saying, and I am still, you know, we're in different. I'm still lagging behind, you know what I mean? I'm still super excited, but like, I totally understand what you're saying. I totally get it. I actually think you'll be welcomed back a lot more than you think continuously from the Escape from Tarkov community, because like the
They
general,
don't care what my motivations are.
well,
It's, the
no,
good
because
still comes
the
from it.
general consensus of a large part of the community is these devs are never going to fix this game, or this game sucks. And so you were like, when everybody was the highest they've ever been on Copium for Tarkov, you were like, yo, this is broken. And everyone's like, screw you. And now everybody's like, everything about Tarkov is broken. And so they'll welcome you back as their mauled master. But
Now, in my video, I didn't say
no,
anything
I know.
about
Not at all.
PSG's in the game is bad. I'm still gonna keep it agnostic
For
to
sure.
the whole like these guys and but
For sure. But like, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think your analogy really is like, or your metaphor really is kind of like, it does feel more and more just like, yeah, you're riding a horse that doesn't want to ride you, that doesn't want you to ride it. Like it feels like there's just less. Yeah, it feels like over time we get less control of our person. You know what I mean? Which is why I'm like, with these guys iterating on unconscious mechanics, I don't know if I'm super stoked about that. But in general, I think yeah, I don't know. I mean, everything I said before, I want the experience to be more even for everybody. I want, even back when we were talking about the DayZ, I want there to be less access to things, less of everything, and I want the player controller just feels like it's getting worse and worse over time, and then we just have less control over the recoil, over the aim punch. I don't even understand aim punch, dude. I feel like every time I shoot at people, they're actual. I know it's like the client side, whatever, but like they're like looking at the sun, but then I'm still getting shot. But every time I get shot, I feel like I'm looking. My gun goes everywhere. The blurriness, the recoil, the LPVOs for everything. Like you brought this up a little bit, but like nobody does jiggle peaks anymore because of inertia, but it just forced everybody into right hands with LPVOs doing the like, not the full lean, the like gradual lean. So it's like literally they're at the exact pixel that they can see you, which has just pushed more one taps out into the game, not less one taps into the game. And so it's just like, I understand where you're coming from. I'm still super excited for the game. I'm still playing it and I'm still having fun. But at the same time, I won't lie that I feel those things that you're feeling, that I feel like the game wants me to play it less than it has in a long time. And that, like I said, I'm still confident in what I said earlier, that I would like to flatten out the experience and try the whole low time to kill thing. But my guess would be a more skill-based environment where the recoil was more even across, there'd be more variety in guns, and the time to kill was a little higher, would be more fun.
Yeah. One last thing I want to touch on, because I completely forgot about it, and I've been reminded over the last couple of days, and I think it might be potentially the worst thing ever. This is borderline the same kind of thing as, remember when I was like, y'all see how the movement is?
Yeah.
Like how jittery people are running and nobody
noticed
it.
Yeah.
And then actually people could finally see it, and it was just something that had been there forever and it was right in front of people's eyes. I'm back to I mean, I've done 25 raids this wipe, and I already have like 6 clips where you remember the clip. Part of it I did in like the Dance of Tarkov, but then the other part of it I did in the whole like National Geographic kind of thing narrated, where it was on reserve and you see the guy running, and I scope in and literally he's running. My crosshair's perfectly lined up. I click mouse 1, he freezes in place.
Yep.
And then go. That happens to me.
Oh,
I would say 33% of the time.
Where like as soon as you click, everything kind of stops for a second.
Yeah, I've got a handful of clips where it's like, whether it's hatchlings just dicking around, running around, or even AI. it's just more in indications of either performance and or netcode problems, where that's the other thing, is that like the only chance I have as a new player is to like get a headshot a one
Yeah.
tap. And every now and then I can. And it all just depends on if I get them while they're standing still or whatever. But there's something seriously wrong with pressing mouse one that I want to try to do some testing on, because, and pay attention to this. If you see it, clip it.
I'm
Everybody
playing
that's
tonight, so
everybody that's playing, if you experience it, have your shadow play on. If you have these things, send them to me, because this could potentially be another massively thing. And the problem is, to me, I for the longest time I just figured like my timing was off, right?
Yeah.
But then I got a little back into my stride a little bit. You know, I've been playing some more mouse games, not just controller games, and it's like, okay, cool. And then I started to be like, sick lineup on the hedge. Oh, I missed. What the and it was like I knew it. I lined it up right. You know how sometimes in some games you can hit a headshot and you might as well do a fadeaway jumper. You don't even have to look at it. You click mouse one and you see the recoil, and then you don't see anything, and you know you're like, oh! That when you go back down, the head's just gone.
Yep.
I've had so many of those scenarios, and then when the scope settles back down, I see them continuing to run off, and it's like, what the just happened?
Yeah.
I think there's something going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be watching out for that tonight, and I'll see if I'll notice it in any clips. Send any clips.
I can't wait. Now everybody's gonna be like, I can't believe I didn't notice it, man.
Yeah.
So there's that. One more quick thing. I reached out to a couple of the like high level developers at Valve who work on Steam Audio, and I want to. It doesn't look. It's been enough days that I don't know. I'm not optimistic, but I basically just with the Steam Audio thing. When did we talk about the whole kind of political sort of thing last week? Did I mention that? I don't remember if it was on the podcast. Somebody said something along the lines of the reason why they were dropping Steam Audio, or then this is a random person. The reason why they're dropping Steam Audio is because Valve doesn't want to support Russian companies, so they're basically giving them literally no customer support. And then BSG, probably was just like, fine, f off. If you're not going to give us any support, we'll just find something else. Did we talk about that last week?
No, but I have heard people say that too.
I heard that, and that was like, I mean, it's feasible. I don't know. We're not getting into politics or anything here, but it's like, I wonder if that's the case. Then it kind of sucks that they're throwing Steam Audio, Valve under the bus for what. If that's the case, they're basically saying, yeah, they wouldn't give us any support, as if they were running into issues with their product and they were like complaining. Basically, oh, they wouldn't give you support, huh? If you were reporting bugs and none of the things you were reporting to Valve wasn't getting fixed. How does that feel, Nikita?
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm skeptical of all that, and I am partially skeptical of the fact that all of the issues that they had were issues with like the library. Like all of the posts and stuff I saw, like one of Nice Guy's videos, there was like a Q&A, and they basically had said a few things about that I don't know. The last few things I've seen talking about Steam Audio have shirked all responsibilities sort of off of them, and they're basically acting as if they got a lemon. So I would love to talk to the Steam Audio guys, because maybe they're like, they ran into issues that we couldn't solve, and they had an interesting, unique challenge. Whatever. Or maybe, there's a world in which they're like, nah, they had no idea what they're doing, and they botched the whole thing. Or they say, they haven't updated to the engine that we've been telling them about for a million years. Or, so I would love to have that conversation. They're not gonna. It doesn't look like anybody's gonna reach out to me unless. Yeah.
So like the other part of that is like, once again, I remain cynical of both sides. Like the other part of that is a lot of the drama has been made up, in my opinion. like around that, like a lot of it has been like somebody in the Discord said Steam Audio sucked, and then 2 days later on a podcast they said that they're removing Steam Audio, so they totally blamed all of the issues in the sound they've ever had on Steam Audio. Like I'm so it's both sides of it. It's like, read the quotes. Like in the podcast, he was like, we're removing Steam Audio and we're moving to something else. He said very little other than that. And then in the Q&A, he said, Steam Audio will be replaced. The main reason for leaving Steam Audio was the lack of involvement from the authors and technology. We haven't received any potential solutions to our ideas. So what I'm saying is I agree to both sides that.
Oh, no, wait, both sides of what?
Well, I'm saying I agree. I'm saying I agree and
I wasn't
disagree.
saying there was, to me, the side was what Battle State was saying and whatever reality is, which might be what Battle State was saying. I don't agree. Don't put me on the side of all of the other fucking idiots who.
I misspoke. I misspoke there. What I'm saying is that I understand people who read that quote and say, like, it kind of sounds like they're shirking the responsibility over to Steam Audio and not taking that responsibility. Like, I can kind of get that feeling too. But you have people on the other side that are saying Battle State Games blames all of the audio issues on Steam Audio and they're sweeping it under the rug. And that's just objectively not true based on what has been spoken. They might be doing that. They might be trying to figure out like, or they might be kind of sweeping it under the rug. They might be blaming that. But what I'm saying is it's a slippery slope when people say Battle State Games has said things that they haven't said, and that is happening, and content creators and people are saying that, and then it all gets jumbled up and it gets confusing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, those people need to back up what they're saying, and just lying and making up is par for the course for the Tarkov community. So it's no surprise there. Those people are wrong. Blaming everything on Steam Audio is obviously not what they're doing. But when I directly asked Nikita himself before the Q&A, this was the day of the podcast, he told me that the reason why they were dropping it was because Steam Audio has a lot of issues, performance crashes, and limited functionality. I cannot help but say that's
yeah.
Like limited functionality is completely and utterly. It's got more functionality than they could ever need or want.
Yeah.
Performance and crashes, maybe. Although the fact of the matter is that there are plenty of happy customers out there that use it that don't have performance issues or crashing issues.
Yeah.
And there are, and including all of the people who play Tarkov now. When was the last time you heard people saying, "Oh, the game crashes on me all the time"? I haven't heard that in a while. When the performance has been dog shit forever, and it's not going to change and get better when they remove Steam Audio, right? So now maybe it's the other modules and all this other stuff. I haven't taken part in I've done one raid on the test server a million years ago. But I'm not even gonna go there because it's all hearsay. In chat, chat's mauling right now over like 700 different things. So that's why we're so distracted.
Yeah.
It's always good when you mention people who are doing a live show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with any of the people that you just said on both sides.
Yeah.
I think that it, I don't really need to say it again other than I think that Nikita probably had some good reasons. There's probably some issues with kind of just quitting while you're ahead and sort of cutting your losses, not quitting while you're ahead, but more so cutting your losses and being like, we need to do something else, because my hunch is that they just ran up against too many issues. And I don't know. I would have much rather have had him say,
Yeah.
there were some issues with the integration on their end. We weren't getting the support that we needed because we're inexperienced and are having issues, and
Yeah.
we have a particularly difficult thing, and we have tech debt. That would have been the fair, reasonable,
For
honest,
sure.
and respectable thing to say. Now, again, this is all asterisk, assuming that's what happened. We can't know. All we've heard is, well, they didn't give us any support. And the reason why we dropped it is it has a lot of issues, performance crashes, and limited functionality. And that to me seems like some kind of propaganda where it's like, come on, don't sell me on that.
And I agree. And I think that like sums up my opinion on it, is that I'm frustrated about the drop of Steam Audio, but I want to be frustrated for the right reason. And my frustration is because it seems like they're being intentionally vague and not telling us why they're dropping Steam Audio. I don't want to be frustrated because someone said that they got offended in Discord, and because of that, they're like, but people are saying that.
Oh God, I haven't even heard that.
I don't want to be mad at them because, oh, well, Valve doesn't support Russian companies anymore. Like there are all these like theories and reasons that people are mad. And that's what I'm saying. It's like when somebody says, I know for a fact that the reason they're dropping Steam Audio is because Valve's not supporting Russian companies and this, that, and the other. It's like, if I am like, well, you just made that up, and while I can't tell you it's not true, I don't necessarily think it is true. Then people are like, oh, so you just think everything BSG says is 100% true. It's like, no, I am frustrated at BSG. I am frustrated that we're getting rid of Steam Audio. I am frustrated, but I'm frustrated because we're not getting a lot of communication about it, and I don't really know the answer. So like that's where I'm at, where it's just like people just get so weird and they create these things, and it's like they create these weird conspiracy theories that, once again, technically I can't say that I know for sure isn't true, but I push back on, and then people are like, oh, so you just believe everything they say, don't you? And it's like, no, I am frustrated about this. Like, yeah, so that's what I was saying. And so like I totally get and understand where you're coming from, and especially since you've actually like integrated these things into Unity projects yourself, you have the ability to reach out to the devs. I'd love to see if they, you know, respond and say some stuff. And I'm so willing to hold BSG accountable and be like, yo, that's messed up if we get some information. But they're being vague. I'm frustrated that they're vague, but my frustration that they're being vague is not going to end up in me literally making something up and then being pissed if you don't agree with me about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous.
No, agreed. And I mean, that's the reasonable stance to have. I want to mention, because this comes up a lot, and I just kind of tried to like not draw too much like attention to it or whatever, but it is the amount of times where people have said one of these two things, that Veritas built Steam Audio into a Unity application and then followed that with like trying to effectively say that I'm right because of that, or other people being like, I really wish they would just hire you to fix the audio. I have to go on the record and make it clear that it took me 22 minutes to integrate Steam Audio into the application. It took me 2 hours to look through the documentation and flip a couple of switches, and I cannot explain how much more complicated doing anything close to what Escape from Tarkov has and integrating in a it's just not fair. I'm trying to like, I don't like when people agree with me for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
I'm not remotely qualified. I don't know. I know nothing about programming, anything audio related, anything Unity engine related, anything video game related. I know about programming. Yeah. I've got a degree. I've got a decade of experience. Anybody who knows anything about software will know exactly what that means. But to everyone else who doesn't, stop acting as if I'm a programming, Unity integrating god that could solve all of BSG's problems in code tomorrow.
Dude, that's actually a really funny point. It's like you have a degree in programming, so you know exactly what you're capable of and what your limitations are. And so it's frustrating when people tell you that you don't know something that you do know, but it's frustrating when people come in and be like, well, Veritas made a game with Steam Audio. Like, it's simple. And you're like, no, you're trying to be helpful here, but like...
I'm trying to be realistic, and also it makes me feel uncomfortable that people are like talking me up in a way that you know, well, now I have to go and poo-poo the person who's being nice, trying to support me, but
because
so
you
then
don't
I
want
seem like,
you don't want other people to be like, see, that Veritas guy's a dick. He's telling people he can code a whole game by himself. When you
he
didn't
has no
say
fucking
that,
experience.
yeah, you did a little experiment within the purview of your knowledge. Other people found out about that experiment, conflated it for something it wasn't, told somebody else. That person doesn't remember the person that told them. All they remember is that Veritas thinks he can make a game with Steam Audio.
And then third parties come in and see that I just disagree with everyone. All I do is disagree. I have to be right, and I disagree with everyone. And I really wish I could make people see that it's not that I have to be right. It's that I see something that I 100% believe is right.
Yeah.
So when other people are saying all of these other things are right, I have to point them towards that because I care about when we're all pointing at the right thing and saying that's right, the world is a better place.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be pedantic. Actually, my next science video that I've almost done writing the script for and I have the footage for and I did the testing for is once and for all going to completely shut everybody up about over-penetration.
Broken face shield. Wait, no. We got
I already did that. Over-penetration.
I'm excited.
I'm going to explain what it means in the real world and how it completely is irrelevant to everything in Tarkov, and how these 700 different things that people apply to Tarkov are all wrong. But the best part is that the two examples I'm opening up with are two different posts that are replies in the famous Reddit post, "Why is Veritas such a terrible human being?"
Hell yeah.
And both of them say, the first one says, he's such a piece of shit. All he does is tell everybody that they're always wrong. And what really annoys me and triggers me is that he's so particular and he's so anal about the way that things are worded and phrased. I watched the end of his Scav leg meta video, and he said something along the lines of, "Oh, well, it seems to me like my hypothesis is that the," you know, and he quoted. It wasn't even totally wrong what the quote was.
Yeah.
But it was clearly meant to like say he used more words when few words do trick.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he says all this pretentious dickhead needed to do was that say scavs aim at legs.
Yeah.
And the best part is that that's not what I said.
Yeah.
So the reason why I was so verbose in particular was because it's so specific and I was exactly right about everything. And he was like, why did he say all of these things that added nuance and correctness? He should have just said the wrong opposite thing with two words. And it's like, oh, mwah, beautiful. Thank you on a silver. And then another person does the same thing about overpen. They say Veritas is such a stubborn, arrogant dick. Yeah. He denies that overpen exists. He said it wasn't even a thing and he couldn't agree on the word when really all overpen is the choice and bullet you use.
It's like, let me be unequivocally clear. The sky is blue. Why do you have to use that big word? He could have just said the sky is red. Like, what an idiot.
Exactly.
What an idiot. Why use big word?
It's fantastic. It'll be a perfect example of kind of what I'm talking about, where it's like, I'm not trying to be a pretentious, pedantic naysayer, you know, whatever. I just care about people communicating correct information effectively.
Yeah. How
and if you don't,
you?
Yeah, and if you don't, and if I care enough, I'm gonna try and help get everybody there. Yeah. I'm actually pretty diplomatic a lot of the time. The problem is when people aren't, when they are not saying the right thing in the right way that's confusing and or is wrong, and then I'm trying to walk them through that, and then they're rude dickheads. That's when I say you're a clown, and I ban them.
Yeah. And
they go to he just banned me because he didn't agree with me.
Yeah. And then if they clip it, they don't see chat or those messages were deleted, and so all this, you know, the video evidence is just
nobody
you
ever
saying
clips it though.
You're being a clown.
You would think that with the dozens of Reddit posts and comments about how terrible I am, the fact that I've televised clippably for 4 years for full time, that someone would have a clip of it. Nobody ever imagine if someone posted a tweet saying this guy's such a piece of shit. Here's a clip of him being a piece of shit. Well, then at least I could then watch it and see what the context is and maybe defend myself.
Yeah.
Instead, they go, this guy's a piece of shit. He said some really, really, really mean thing to me. Take my word for it, though. even though everybody clips everything all the time, 100% of the time, always. There's never a clip of me just flat out being like, you want to know what my birthday is? You. I hope you fucking fall on Legos. You banned. I'm sweating.
I'm so.
And you know what? Interestingly enough, as passionate and as loud as I am, I'm not mad.
Yeah,
That's the best
dude,
thing.
I get that
I'm
all
having
the
fun.
time. People very much so confuse. I get that way all the time in my personal life too, man. People are like, "Yo, calm down." It's like, "Oh, I'm not mad. I just get intense when I talk." And I feel like, yeah, there have been plenty of people that are mad that I guess it's just the mad cast now, and I'm not mad at all. Well,
Whoa, man.
calm down, man. We gotta talk like this.
Yeah.
Tarkov is a terrible game. There's so many things broken with it. But I'm calm. I feel good. Yeah.
Man, that Jesse's a nice, humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Just calm down now, you hear?
Whoa, dude. Jesus Christ. Why are you molding? I just got here. What's going on, man? Yo, that's some ASMR. You should do. You know who you sounded like? You sounded like one of my best friends. You sound like one of my best friends doing an impression of the
the guy from Family Guy, yeah. I can't do that impression well, but I can do an impression of somebody doing that impression. You know what I mean? It's like it's not good.
What does he say?
Herbert.
You're like pickles or something like that.
I can't get the whistle on the ass. Hey,
Neither can I.
I can't get the whistle.
Oh, dude.
I can't get the whistle.
I can't either. Oh yeah, it's popsicles. You're like popsicles. That's what it is.
Popsicles.
Oh, dude, I used to be on the phone at work when I worked with my buddy Brad, and he'd come up behind me, and I could feel the breath on my neck. You want a popsicle? Like, oh God, dude, I miss Brad. I gotta call him.
Brad, this one's for you, Brad. Type Brad in the comments if you made it this far in the podcast. You know how many people I had type Hot D69?
Hot D, dude, unbelievable. I love it. Everybody type Brad.
Brad.
This one's for Brad. Here to Brad.
Yep.
But did I say something about vegetables? Everybody's like, yeah, something vegetable. I'm like,
bro, I can't remember. It was like the it was like the 50th Hot D69 before I got the joke. If you were in my chat this week and you were the first 30 people to type Hot D69, I thought you were weird. I didn't know. I didn't remember.
I think it's because I said it.
Maybe
I think it's because I said type Hot D69, so it wasn't in your head. But
then I got it, and I was like, oh, dude,
does that ring a bell?
No.
Did I say anything about vegetables?
Maybe.
I had like 3 or 4 people say Hot D69, you know, something vegetable. I'm like,
bro,
I'm gonna have to go.
Losing our grip.
I'm gonna have to go. But dude, I'm stoked. They apparently there's a big update with chess.
With chess, yeah.
Yeah.
Chess is that's exciting. That's exciting. Man, this was a spicy one. This was a spicy one.
Yeah, I don't know why you were so mad the whole time.
I was absolutely fuming.
Chill the f out.
Yeah.
Molding.
Yep.
I said it was vegetables and the other content are candies. I said that?
Oh,
What a stupid thing to say.
That's right. No. Yeah, we were talking about YouTube content and how so many people, it's just like, use this meta gun. It's the best. And then end video. And like, that's candy. And you trying to educate people is like your mom trying to give you vegetables. And in a few years, they'll thank you. I remember now. Because I almost made that the intro.
What a stupid thing to say. God, because now everybody's like, yeah, dog, you're a vegetable. And I'm like, what? Did I get in like some sort of car accident? I don't understand.
Specifically, you were mommy serving the vegetables.
Yeah, and you're leather daddy.
And I'm leather daddy.
And the kids went to bed early. I don't feel comfortable anymore. I liked it better when we're a couple of leather daddies.
Yeah.
I don't want to role play as
Somebody
leather
said
mommy.
no.
I don't want to be leather mommy.
No.
That ain't it.
No. No. What's that?
Dude, I've been playing too much chess, man.
Well, listen, I hope you and Magnus duke it out for the #1 spot. I know you're coming for him.
Yeah, dude. Magnus is my gruff chess daddy.
Gruff chest daddy?
Yeah, not chest.
There it was. Gruff chest daddy.
Well, I mean that too.
Yeah.
If you've seen those pecs he's got.
Gruff daddies of war.
I don't know. Is this guy like alive? Is he from like the 13th century? Magnus?
No, he is. Adam's really into chess, and so
he's a handsome.
I know a little bit about chess. I heard that he's not competing to hold his title. He's been #1 in the world in the ranking system for like 2 years or something like that, and he's he's just like gonna like retire on top.
He's 2 years younger than me. I thought this guy was like 70. I pictured an old man. Oh, dude, if there's a movie about him, Matt Damon has to play him.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about chess is that as the better and better chess people get, the younger they get too. It's
like Benjamin Button disease. What are you?
No, not the younger.
As their elo goes up, their age goes down.
I meant
the fountain of youth, baby. Sorry, I completely intentionally misunderstood in the best way.
That was
sorry,
incredible.
I had to do that.
I was like, yeah, no,
the better they get, their age goes down.
As each year, the newer, higher ones are younger. It's like crazy. It's
like esports.
Yeah, but a game that's been around for 1,500 years. People have their kids on chess at 4 or 5 years old, and at 10 or 11, they're can compete with not grandmasters, but whatever is below that. It's nuts.
Dude, it's because all these kids and their Twitchy and with the net code these days on chess.com.
Yeah.
That matters, man.
Yep.
That matters.
Yeah. Steam audio, the localization of the click when you move on.
Someone earlier said, they should add VoIP to chess. And I was stupid. It wasn't even funny, but it was funny for some reason.
I saw a video, and it was I guess it was what's your biggest Formula One hot take? And he was they should have proximity chat. Imagine the racers driving by just absolutely annihilating each other over proximity chat.
That's all you would hear. You wouldn't.
Well, but they have their their radios should have proximity. You should be able to talk smack to people if within a certain radius. Yeah. Basically, that would be epic.
True.
Well,
you should add void to Twitch chat.
Ooh.
Said no one ever.
Imagine. You ever accidentally entered a Discord call with 700 people in it, and it's just a cacophony of noise because everyone is talking and playing music? That would just be Twitch chat.
I never click on
a
Discord channel.
I accidentally
ever.
it was drops week, and I went to the official Escape from Tarkov Discord for something, and I accidentally clicked into the just main voice one, and I swear to God there were 200 people in there, and it was just all but 200 people, and it was awful but hilarious. So I just sat in there and listened for 7 seconds, and then my brain melted a little bit, so I left.
One time something happened, I saw there was 5 people in a room in my Discord where 2 people were streaming, broadcasting,
live,
and I was in my Discord, that's I've never seen that before. So I wanted to see if I could see the stream, but as soon as I did that, apparently they all heard the bloop, and it was oh, yo, Veritas is here. Oh, what's up, dude? Big fan. And I'm well, there goes 40 minutes of my day because I can't be oh, what's up, guys? Peace. I don't want to be that guy. So
Sorry.
I did an impromptu meet and greet in my Discord when I told my wife I was going to go downstairs real quick and grab a URL to it. Oh, God almighty.
Jesus.
Never again.
Never again.
Just kidding. You were all nice. And it was nice to meet you all.
Yeah. Some dude's going to Twitter DM you, be I was in that call.
This was 3 years ago, dude.
Well, Brad's in the comments if you made it this far in the YouTube video. Thank you for hanging. Thanks for being with us. Thank you for being a part of the Maldcast, where apparently all we ever do is yell at each other, and Jesse just agrees with everything. He doesn't say anything, and Veritas just yells about the game. I'm very confused as to why you watch said podcast if it's that terrible, but thank you for making it this far and contributing to
Thanks for that
our
fat ad revenue.
community. Yeah, dude, you wouldn't even believe.
Holy shit, the monetization we have
This
going here.
podcast has literally made tens of dollars. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's 2 digits.
115 episodes.
It's 2 digits, boys. Someone, please don't do the dollar per hour calculation on that. Thank God we don't prepare or do any work beforehand.
But thank you guys for hanging. I appreciate y'all for being here. This will be live on Monday on all the platforms. And yeah, thanks for hanging. We'll definitely see y'all on the next one.
Love you. Bye.